Hey family. So I want to go over one of the main areas of your 40-day nest to be planning for. And I think probably, I don't know, they're all important, but I think one of the most important is the food and really putting a lot of thought into what 40 days of food looks like for you, thinking about you, that you're not cooking it, and really, if possible, really minimal preparation. That is ideal, and depending on your situation, it can be different. It looks different, but that's ideal. As little as you have to do, but really, just where is 40 days of meals coming from? Your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, your snacks, and how you can plan for that ahead of time. And there's a lot of different things you can combine together to make that happen. So you have a lot of different avenues that your food is coming from. For my first nest, I was in Costa Rica and living pretty rural, and so um, a big thing that I really did was thinking about 40 days of frozen meals, and I was fortunate enough to have a big deep freezer where I was living. So that is great if you can get a deep freezer. If you live somewhere that has Facebook Marketplace, that's always a great place to look for a deep freezer. People are always just trying to get rid of stuff. So I would say look there and just be scouting out one on there if you don't already have one. And yeah, and different ways you can do it. For me, I made some bulk batches of some favorite meals. So I had a really big pot, and I make a huge thing of, coconut curry soup, another huge thing of mushroom soup. So I made like big meals that I then kind of like repeated throughout the nest. And I don't know if I would fully recommend that again, because if you're thinking 40 days, by the sixth week, I was kind of getting over some of the food. So even though they were my favorite to begin with, repeating them again, it just, yeah. So maybe not huge bulk, but a nice way to just kind of start getting more food without making it a huge deal. It's just when you're making dinner, just always, in the months ahead of time, just always be making double the portion. So then you can, eat half of it and then freeze the other half, and so you can just start kind of collecting meals that way, little by little, as you're already making your meals. So not making a huge deal about it. Another little tip that my friend had an idea for, who's pregnant, she said she had the idea to have like a food making party. So if, say, she has a few recipes, she wants to try, so get the ingredients for those, and then invite some friends over. If you have kids, have someone on kid duty, and then have the other people, helping chop things and helping make a few meals at once. However many you can fit on your stove. So you're getting some help with that. So that's another little fun way. And then at that party too, you can also say, if people want to bring a frozen meal to put in your freezer, that's something too. Um, there's always meal trains too, which is nice. For, after you have the baby, already kind of, maybe you can ask someone to kind of help you with it. But if you have like all the contacts of people already, make a list of all the different contacts that you have that you want the meal train to go out to, and kind of set it up ahead of time, or get someone to help you set it up with giving them the contacts that you have. So then, maybe it's not every single night you have someone bringing you a meal, but maybe like a couple nights a week, 2-3 nights a week, you have a meal train coming in from someone, and then the other nights you can fill in with different things. So that's a nice way to do it too, if you have, enough community to reach out to. Another thing too that I did that was helpful, for like personal lunches on my last nest, was I did one of the meal subscription programs, where I get meals every week and pick out those. So then have those shipped to me every week. That could kind of help just with like a personal meal at lunchtime, you know, if you have like a family meal at dinner time, but maybe it's just you at lunchtime that needs a meal. Yeah, looking into like some kind of subscription program with a company you'd like to help with that. And then those two, they can have like juices you can add on. So, because you have to think about like, you know, what do we want to be having throughout it, your snacks and all that. So you can like add on juices or smoothies. Um, yeah, and really, yeah, just thinking about all those little things. My first nest, yeah, I had the frozen meals, and I had my partner helping with a lot of the other food. But and this, I mentioned this other times, you know, sometimes if there's a lot on your partner, it can be a lot for them, and then kind of end up being a lot for you. So actually, kind of halfway through my nest, I realized, okay, like this isn't fully working. Feeling like we're kind of stressed here, too much on him. And then I realized that I could employ my friend to come over in the mornings, and I had like a little list of, you know, what I was feeling like I wanted that day. And she would come over and cook food for me and kind of prep some things for me, make a juice, make a meal, get some things prepped for the day, and you know, and then leave. So she, you know, she was kind of just in her own space too, so it wasn't too much in my space. So I still got to just kind of have that, you know, kind of quietness. But she, yeah, just came over, prepped some things for me, and then had them all kind of ready to go. So that was, yeah, another thing that was really helpful. So just thinking about, you know, yeah, if there's someone, if you have help, free help, that's always great. But also if you can hire someone, you know, whether it's a friend or a family member, or hiring out too, you know, finding someone that needs to make some money and maybe they can come and help do some meals for you. That's always a resource too. I mean, you always, of course, want to kind of see how you can, you know, people who want to help already for free, but always like then after that, okay, if you need to hire out help, figure out, you know, how you can maybe do that as well. Oh, and another thing that's so fun and important to remember, and really one of my favorite parts, is thinking about your first meal postpartum, your first meal after you have a baby. And I worked with a midwife from just kind of virtually, and this was her big thing with my first baby. Was just like really go all out, you know, like let this is a celebration. You just had a baby, you know, and that was the hungriest I've ever been my whole life. It was right after birth and the days after that, so hungry. And so it's like, what's your favorite food that you want to have right after that, you know, whether it's your favorite takeout or your favorite meal that you have, you know, in the freezer that you can then like have someone, you know, start, you know, cooking and thawing out for you when you go into that labor. If you want to have cake, you know, if you drink and want to have wine, if you know, make it a celebration, and have it thought about and ready, that it's like, even if you're not consciously thinking about it, in the back of your mind, when you're in that, you know, process of bringing this life in, you know, like, I have my favorite meal waiting for me. I have like nourishment that feels so good that's gonna be happening, and it just like your body can just open up to let that happen, because that's really, it's like your body already knows how to birth, and it's really just the allowing process. And the more you can plan your postpartum, I feel like the easier your birth is, because you know that that's set, and you can just be like, okay, let's get this baby out, and I'm going into my nest where I'm being cared for, and there's so much, you know, just yeah. feeling of that in there. So planning out that first meal, I think, is huge and so much fun too, because it just reminds you that this is a celebration and you deserve that, and make it fun. It's a celebration. It's a fun thing that it's this new life coming into the world. So that's, yeah, one of my biggest ones to think about is your first meal after. And then also, don't underestimate how hungry you're going to be, because I, in the beginning, the first weeks especially, I always needed 2 dinners. So I would have my partner, help me with my first dinner, and then just go ahead and like have, it was usually just like the same meal, but just another serving of it, like just at the bedside, that a few hours later I could have my second meal. So it's like, he was sleeping, but I like, woke up and hungry and could just like eat my second meal right there, all ready to go. I would definitely recommend, yeah, like your bedside table, if you even like a mini fridge, or something, a cooler, or just something that you can have like snacks on hand all the time, that even like between meals you can, just easily like grab a snack, grab something in the cooler, have things that are all stocked in your little cooler or your little mini fridge just at your bedside, that can help with that. And even simple things too, like depending on how much help you have, like if you need to kind of do minimal prep, but you could even still be in your bed, like you have like a hot water, warm up some hot water and have some tea right there, like at your bedside, that you can just like, yeah, have there and ready to go. The less you have to like get out of bed and do things, that's really the key. So if you can have, some little basic things that you can kind of do some minimal little prep, for the times that maybe someone isn't always right there. I mean, ideally it would be like you don't have to do any prep and someone's always handing you something, but that might not be the reality too. So just minimal prep, like if you do like a hot cereal or something, you can like heat up hot water and just have like a pre-mixed cereal all ready that you mix the hot water in, and right there you got something, or all of that. So I'll be doing more videos on this, but just wanted to get out some ideas on the food part that are coming up initially, and kind of get you thinking about it. Maybe you do like one meal out a week, or however much you do, you know what I mean? But kind of build it in, and really you can kind of like start to make a 40-day calendar too, and kind of just like think about, I don't know, you don't necessarily need to get that detailed about it, but you can kind of just like have a count for how many meals you have. Too, thinking at least if you have 40 dinners or 40 people that you kind of are, people that like, hey, they said they could make you one meal a week. Okay, so you kind of, have that figured out of who can help you, when they can help you, how many meals you have, and just build it all in. So I hope that is helpful and not overwhelming, and yeah, just kind of get you to think, get you to plan a little bit ahead of time, so then when the time comes, you can just have more of that relaxation time, nourishing time, and being fed. Okay, love you, family. Aloha, ciao, bye.